What's up, everybody? Welcome to New World Sim Racing Pint Series 10 from Kyalami. It's round 3, and we're kind of still here. We are managing some technical difficulties. Paul's computer decided not to work, so I'll be running the broadcast today, so he will not be with us. We are instead joined by my favorite broadcaster, probably your favorite broadcaster, the most professional man I know, the voice of 949 Sim Racing, Mr. Whelpcakes, Philip Milwee.
Hey, you didn't have to say all that kind of stuff.
Well,
Appreciate it, though.
I like lying to people,
Okay.
so
Well, lie to me. I love it.
I'm happy you're here. No, I'm kidding.
Man, Kyalami, you guys are getting ready for, what is this, round 3 of the Pint series?
This is round 3.
Man, you guys have got 10 seasons under your belt. You
Yes.
guys got like one more in than we did. Congrats on that.
Quite a run. It's been a thing.
I'm looking at some of the faces. You guys have some people that I've never seen in here before. I've never seen, is that Leddickman? Is that how you pronounce that? In the Honda?
Regan Leckman.
Okay,
question mark. We just call him Regan.
Regan? Okay,
Super fast in the Honda.
Yeah. Trying to think. I mean, I've seen some of these other names before, but just seeing some new faces is always good to see. Seeing Gixxer in the Honda, that's kind of awkward. Never seen Gixxer in that car before. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. You guys got a good mixture of people across the 3 classes. It's gonna be a pretty good show. Kyalami always delivers.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were a little short today. We've had some last-minute sign-outs and some people that were in the server earlier. I think Guillerme, his computer started to overheat, so he's not going to be able to make it. So just PC problems all around for everybody.
I mean, it was the server browsers down earlier this week. I don't know if there's a Windows patch out. I think that's the running joke these days. But yeah, technical issues, they kind of suck. But that's one of the things about sim racing that kind of like mirrors a little bit of like the real world stuff, is that sometimes there are things that take the ability to race out of your hands that you can't control. But you guys got a healthy size lobby here for Kyalami, 22 cars. Kyalami's tight, twisty track, so that's going to be for some good racing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we got some absolutely rapid guys out there. Some of the guys still driving the meme cars, so keep an eye on guys like Danny in the 650S. What's up, Joby? Joby dropped 100 bits. So I'll split that with you. Well, you can have half of it.
No, you're good.
I will send you a check in the mail.
Check in the mail? Fantastic.
Yeah. Except I'm going to need a refund because that stamp is expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have mail still in Oklahoma?
Yeah, there's a guy who's going to come out on a horse on Tuesday.
I got you.
And I'll drop it in his pouch.
Yeah, as long as nobody robs the stagecoach on the way.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we got Joseph Savage in chat. Buy yourselves a sour key on me. What is a sour key?
That's probably some Canadian thing.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not very cultured. I'm not very cultured, Joseph. So sorry about that. 26 minutes, 50 seconds left in qualifying. Do you guys do split classes?
Yeah, we're doing 10, 10, 10. So the bronze drivers are out now. They get 10 minutes, and then we'll have the silver and then quote-unquote gold, which is the white badge.
Excellent.
We went away from the 4 class. It's just kind of a headache. Like getting the black number badge to show up is a lot of work. And really we get kind of a drop off as the season goes along, and our bronze and silver class from last season were so close together and they were constantly racing with each other, we just combined the class together.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Like when we were over 949, when we had like the big grids and stuff like that. For me, I always felt like a strong like amateur sprint race field was like over 20 cars, but then probably like under 35 or maybe sometimes even 30 depending on what track, because you end up with like 50 cars on track. It's just like it feels like bedlam. And but then again, that's also entertaining, so I could see why people are into that sort of thing. Ryan Cody in the Fedgoni Industries, hope I pronounced that right.
10 series in, still don't know how to pronounce it. No idea.
Okay, all right, cool.
We just say that he's driving a Lexus, and I don't know if you have the livery pack downloaded or not, but he's using the Wood One from Race Department. Good looking livery.
Yeah. I've got that pulled for the I can't remember what race he was doing that I had that pack. You got a driver onboard request for Barrett. What's he up to?
Where is Barrett? Barrett is...
He's out on track, hasn't set a lap yet.
Yeah, we'll get him here in a minute. We'll wait till he gets around to the start-finish straight, and then we'll ride on board with him.
So yeah, Kyalami, a track that I'm pretty fond of. Johannesburg, South Africa. Really interesting track layout. A lot of variable radius corners that can kind of catch you out. We just saw Chameleon go through the Leo Cup hairpin down through Mine Shaft and into Crocodiles, which is a pretty awkward corner for its alternate banking on entry and exit. I just like the track.
I don't know any of the corner names, so
that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm
a fan of this track. I was more of a fan until I did a 24-hour race on it and got bullied the entire time because I was way off the pace for the people that we were with. And we ran in the Honda, which was less of a headache because the Honda's really strong here.
Yeah. Oh. It's a tough track for like I said, it's got some real tight bits to it, and a lot of the corners have really wide corner entries, and sometimes they have like narrowing mid corner or narrowing corner exits. So like we're going on with Jay Barrett going through turn 1 right now, Crowthorne, and then through Juxay Sweep and into Barbecue. Through all this corner complex, it's just the corner, the amount of tarmac that you've got access to is just contracting through each corner, and then now through this short straightaway into Sunset, you've got this like really wide runoff area over here, so it's a very big part of the track where people love to take the risks. And then again through Clubhouse, we're just seeing again the tarmac is just continuing to condense or contract down. So it becomes very hard to pass, and he just decides to bail out as he goes through the S's. And this right here is gravel. Now we've got the pit road. That's okay.
That is not the SRO line, by the way.
That is not the SRO line. That is not for world's fastest gamer. If you're like maybe world's best gamer, like tailgate party, just hanging out in the kitty litter, pop open the trunk, grill some hot dogs. That might be the place to do it, but
yeah,
not for the fastest gamer. You got John Lukey here in the Garage 59 720S.
Yeah, he just dropped the pole lap for the bronze category.
At a 42.7. Yeah, I would be nowhere near that.
I always struggle remembering what lap times are good. I feel like I was doing 42s ish in the Honda.
Yeah.
I'm a strong bronze driver.
Yeah.
So some of these guys are just absolutely flying out there.
I just want to see from the hot lap leaderboard perspective, like what is the patch 1.8 like fastest, and Boothby's rocking a 39.0 in the Porsche.
Yeah, that was the conversation beforehand. They were talking about while we were watching the F1 race that people are doing 39 flats, and it's like, that's insane.
Yeah, it is definitely it's a really good track for for esports because you can really see the drivers that know what they're doing. I mean, you're just watching John Lukey right now, just testing the limits of the track, like pushing the car to its far extremes through every corner entry, through every corner exit, and it is one of those tracks that really favors the people that are willing to take a risk, and it punishes the people that end up miscalculating.
Yeah, you got to use as much of the runoff past the sausage curve as you can. But if you go too far, I mean, you're in the grass and you're along for the ride.
Yeah. There are so many parts of this track where, because of the curbing or because of the banking, it can be very deceptive, especially if you are battling side by side with someone. A perfect example of a corner right here. We were watching Max Diggs go into Crowthorne at turn 1, because the corner exit is kind of like a small slope down. If you're on the outside trying to like hang around the outside to maybe execute and pass or something like that, you can unload the tires as you crest that little hill right there, and it's very easy for you to either understeer if you lose the front end or snap if you lose the back end. I've seen many a times people lose it in turn 1, which is going to be interesting when we go into the start of the race. 42.5 for Max Diggs in the BMW M4. BMW M4 didn't really think it would be that strong around here. Max Diggs is showing us different.
Especially with the new gearing that they put in after the SRO season ended. A lot of people thought that the BMW was going to get, cut down and fall down the leaderboard. But, yeah, Max is really fast in the BMW.
I'm racing the BMW in the Vulcan sim racing community Rapid Drivers Club Mini Enduro Mayhem, and it has been a real pickle for me to try and get to know this car. I raced it in iRacing a bunch. ACC, in my opinion, this car behaves so different from any front engine car that I've driven. A lot of people were talking about how super easy it is for drive. For me, for whatever reason, it's hard. I don't understand it. But I'm getting there.
It's a very tame car, and it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security. And then you're like, oh, I can just drive over curbs, and then it'll reach out and it'll grab you, and and that's when you die, when you least expect it.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a tricky car, and you got Regan in the Falcon Punt Honda. I love the back end of that car. It's hilarious, dude. Getting ready to go on a flyer in the number 7. Who else do we got in here? We got Luis, Joseph Savage. What is it? I see Lukey's in here. Robeson's in here. Sauer.
Dylan Sauer.
If that's Dylan Sauer. I don't know if I've ever called a race with him in it. So that's kind of a new face for me. Dylan Beveridge, who I've seen many times in the Whale Daydreams Racing get up in the BMW, though. Never seen him in that one.
Have you looked at Joby's car yet? Joseph Savage.
Give me a look at it. I've seen it, but I have the memory of a goldfish when it comes to visual stuff. It's just white. That is a white car.
It is blindingly white.
Did he just he went to Home Depot and he found the cool white bulb version of the Lexus, and that's what he decided to run?
I don't know. He sent it to me and I loaded and everything like that, and when I first opened the game and saw it, I was like, okay, I'm waiting for Trading Paints to load, and then I was like, wait, this isn't iRacing.
It's the opposite of Carl's. That makes sense.
Yeah.
He sucks at getting sponsors.
Nobody wants to pay him, so we'll just paint the car white. Yeah, I expect Regan to be way up at the front. I mean, don't count out Lukey. He's also driving the Honda, and he has been really quick with it this season.
Yeah, the Honda around here, pretty strong car. For me, I feel like the Porsche, the Honda. I'm trying to think of what other cars are really, really strong in my book around here. I think the Merc would be pretty quick around here, and I see you got Robeson in it and Hutchings, Carl Biggs in it, so that's going to be interesting. Robeson in the Gold School Racing coming across the line, and he jumps 4th fastest with a 42.407.
So he matches John Lukey's time for the moment.
Yep. Although Lukey's going to get the place because he got the time first.
Yeah, I expect Mark to improve on that. He's already 3/10 up through the first couple of corners.
Oh yeah, Jixer brought up the Aston. I forgot about that. When I called the QRT 24 hours of Kyalami, it was basically 24 hours of Aston Martin.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I got run over by so many Astons it wasn't even funny because I was in that race.
That was a tough race. That was a for the people that participated in that race. That was a really tough race. But man, the fact that so many people stuck that out, and even with the disconnects, a lot of people stuck out as long as they could. I think you guys ended up having to retire because of a disconnect or some other kind of issue. But man, that was just a tough race all around the board.
Yeah, Joby was driving, and then his pedals quit working, so he had to hand it off to Nick, and then Nick's computer crashed, and they're like, "Yeah, we're done."
Yeah, that's a shame. But yeah, this is a really good sprint racetrack. I think it's really good for endurance racing, but it's tough. It's just so technically demanding. Like I said, the track will just punish you if you make a mistake. So Regan goes to the top with a 41.445. Luis Castro 0.8 off. So we got a bit of a gap from Regan on down the order.
Yeah, in the first practice session, Regan was up at the top of the list. I mean, he's granted none of the fast guys like Danny and them were out there running because it was still a fast track, but I mean, Regan is probably going to be mixing up with the gold drivers today.
Now that's going to be cool. I always love it when you get some inter class battles, and the other thing is too is because you guys do points. Do you guys do points for the overall and the category, or do you just do category?
No, it is class only.
Okay, so the interesting thing that I love seeing that sort of thing when there's interclass like battling like this is that when you're not necessarily fighting the cars around you for category points, you can start to use them as like buffers. And but then it can be really frustrating if you're like a silver class driver and you're like genuinely faster than maybe a bronze or something, trying to find your way around. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting with that that dispersal of different classes.
Well, that's
together like that.
What we tell people is you should race everybody regardless of what class they are. But
yeah,
if you're in a different class and you find that they're significantly faster or there's a pace difference, I mean, common sense would be let them go, or they would let you go or something like that. Like, work together. Let's be smart out there. But yeah, like you said, if you're a silver driver, you can put a bronze driver between you and your competition. That's great. Keep them there.
So I'm looking at pit wall right now, and I'm seeing a couple of pieces of information that I find kind of interesting here. Ryan Cody in the Lexus right now, overall top speed around here at 240. Then it's Luis Castro in the Aston Martin, Dylan Sauer in the Audi, and Robeson in the Merc. So, well, Joseph Savage just took the Lexus up to 239 to clinch the third spot on the overall max speed challenge sheet. So Lexus is pretty powerful around here, but the Aston Martin not really that far off of the Lexus in terms of top end.
Yeah, I think the Aston Martin is the car that won out in the most recent update because everybody switched to it. I mean, like you said, in the 24-hour race, there were so many Astons. A, because it's really easy to drive, but B, because it did get quite a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
And although, the guys that drive it well.
I still love watching battles with when the Aston's involved, especially when it comes to a low speed corner and you just watch an Aston just try to like lumber out of a corner. It sounds, if you go inside the cockpit, it sounds like somebody's extremely constipated, just like it's just trying to get out of the corner. But it's such a funny car.
Yeah, the turbo lag is killer.
Speaking of Aston's, Luis Castro going through Leo Cup right now, currently 7/10, almost 8/10 off the pace. 11:23 left in qualifying. Your gold drivers are about to hit the track.
Yeah, I mean, Luis is almost 5/10 up as he's coming into, what'd you say, those crocodiles or something like that? I don't know.
Yep, that's the one.
He just lost 3/10 of that. So there's quite a bit of time out there for him to find. It's just getting the lines correct.
Yeah, going into Ingwe right now and using all the track, pushing it all the way to the edge of the white line. And Luis Castro down the start-finish straight comes across the line, and now he's a little under 6/10 off the pace.
Yeah, he edged closer to Lukey, but didn't quite overtake him. Dylan Beveridge and Joby down in the 10 and 11.
Yeah,
See if they can improve.
Yeah, it looks like while Savage does have the speed in the trap, third fastest from the pit wall data, that's not really translating into overall lap times. If I just compare Regan and Joseph Savage, let's see if I can see. So it really looks like the only area where it seems like Joseph Savage is kind of even close, really down to, man, I just feel like it's sector 3. It's the downhill. That's the only area where he's really getting any kind of gains on the field right now. So he's got to really button it up in sector 1, sector 2. Sector 2 is going to be really weak for the Lexus. It's just not a very good car. It's not nimble in those tight, twisty bits. I love the Lexus.
Yeah, I mean, Savage is losing 3/10 in sector 1 alone, and then almost a full second in sector 2.
Yeah,
off of what Regan has done.
It's just tough because, again, the Lexus is just not a nimble car. So we'll just have to wait and see what he can do.
Yeah, Dylan Beveridge is going to jump to P5 with a 142.2.
Now that I'm Xerxes Society. All right. That's a really good performance from the BMW in this field. Robeson comes across the line, still a second off the pace. Gonna have to settle for that 42.215 as the pro drivers or the gold drivers are out on track.
So the two Hondas at the top of the silver class, but quite a bit of a gap between them.
Yep.
Regan was one of those people that when he first joined, because I believe this is his second season, and he got killed a lot last season. But when he joined, we didn't really have any information on him, so we kind of stuck him in a class, and it ended up being the gold class. He was right on the line of gold and pro. So this may be one of those things where he's got that car figured out, and it's a good season for him, and he does make the move up to what will now be the gold. What's up, Kyle? I'm not trying to ignore people in chat, but...
So, we got a 24-degree air temperature with a 31-degree track temperature. Optimum conditions, very little in the way of clouds in the sky. It's optimum. I'm thinking the temperatures around here. It's gonna be real easy to max out the tire life, and you might end up suffering for pace towards the end of your stint here. It's just gonna be interesting. I feel like cars that are really gonna suffer with that. I'm looking at the Lexus. I'm also looking at the Mercedes. I feel like both of those cars can be pretty terrible on their tires with the amount of slip that they deal with. Now, Vulcan Bockerton in the
how's the GTR?
No, I was gonna say, so Vulcan's in the cracked Nissan here. Now, the thing that's interesting is like Vulcan mained this car forever. So I'm thinking if there's anybody that can kind of counter the narrative on the GTR ruining tire life, it's someone like Vulcan. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we got Vulcan the GTR, and then Danny in the 650.
Yeah, that is the goat. That's a livery. The 650 is a car that I know so little about. Oh man, he's got no head. The 650, I just don't know that much about it as a platform. I believe that is based on the MP4C chassis.
I believe so, yeah.
first of all, for the folks that like this car from a styling perspective, who hurt you?
Yeah, the lights in the middle of the front is atrocious.
It's so kind of. At first, it's got the pig snout in the front because it's got the little nostrils, like inset together in the center of the car. It's just kind of like silly looking. But sorry, Danny, don't mean to make fun of your car.
But he has wood grain on the sides.
The wood grain on the side is a nice touch. It is a nice touch. If you wanted to take your family to on vacation, I'm trying to remember, where did they go to in National Lampoon Vacation? What was the amusement park they were going to?
I have not seen that movie in so long.
In a long time. Yeah, I know, same. But yeah, if you're taking the family on the vacation, the wood paneled 650S might be the one for you. Wow, proto-charged Sim Sport colors on an AMG. Have not seen that in a minute. Peter Hutchings driving the car that I've known him the most in, probably.
He's gonna drift that corner.
Yep, but I'm telling you, if you switched right over, I don't know if he's streaming right now, but if you swapped over to Hutch's stream right now and saw what he was doing with the steering wheel right now, I mean, this guy just hustles the cars through every corner. It is just seesaw. I mean, the bass is screaming probably. It's getting used so much. Into Crowthorne now. We're going to see if he can keep the power down on the AMG. Looks planted. 9/10 off the pace. Not bad for somebody who hasn't raced that much in the past few months.
Yeah, this is the first we've seen him this season, and he said he hasn't raced in a couple months.
Yeah.
So, not doing too bad. Still mixing it up.
Bullet's got a point. If we popped into the cockpit with Mr. Pete Hutchings, you probably see kind of that sawing action that we're used to seeing from the wheel. I mean, he just has a tendency to like basically rock the wheel back and forth as he's hustling the car through the corner.
Yeah, a lot of that wobble counter steer.
Yeah, it's just the way that he does it. No, I'm Whelpcakes. You can call me Philip. You can call me Whelpcakes. You can call me anything you want as long as it's not me.
Who's Jared?
It's Papa. So 3:30 left in qualifying. Got Vulcan Bakkerton on top with that 40.950, which is a pretty good lap, and Regan.
Yeah, Regan's still
far behind.
I mean, 2/10 off.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Kyle, don't worry about it, man. It's no big deal. David Funk and the Crazy Rabbits Racing Audi R8 GT3. A car that I'd really love to get to know more. I think I'm gonna have to give it a shot at some point in time. I think with the latest updates and stuff like that, it's a little bit more. It can be driven more by non-alien types in a way that isn't going to get them killed. 141.547 goes fourth fastest, less than 6/10 off the pace.
Yeah, he threw away 3/10 in the last corner, run a little bit wide, so. There's more time
Ingwe
there.
will do that to you. Ingwe will do that to you. That large runoff area is deceptive. You can use it definitely to try and maximize your time, but you can also throw a bunch of time away just by taking the longer route through that corner.
That's
Steve Wallace.
Steve Wallace in the Road Beast Aston.
Now the Aston Martin, that car that we were talking about earlier on, being somewhat of an overperformer now after the update. Me and Jared sound pretty similar. I'll keep that in mind. Well, first off, apologies to Jared for having my voice because I'm older than him, so I had it first. Anyway, downhill now through Mineshaft. Probably the fastest part of the track in terms of using gravity as an assist. Going into Crocodiles now. 6/10 off the pace, a little under 7/10 off the pace. Let's see if he can improve.
Well, it ain't gonna be this lap because he's 3 seconds off of his best time on this lap. I believe this is an out.
Oof. Yeah, he might be getting set up. He's got like enough time to get another one in before the end of the session. Yep, he's cutting it over. He's going to try and maximize his straight line exit out of Ingwe as much as possible. A little bit of a tail slide, probably going to cut off some top end as he gets down the start-finish straightaway.
And Marcus Murray about to jump into pole with a 40.8.
Yep. That is looking like a stonking good lap.
So Honda on top again.
Yep. Honda's tough around here.
We got the boy Carl.
Carl Big, Mr. Blackout. Yep, P6 in the AMG around here. I really thought that the AMG would be stronger. It's got a lot of good oomph out of corners, but man, that traveling through that corner right there at Crowthorne, it looked like the car was struggling for a little bit of balance.
He said he has not been enjoying it this season so far. He said it just drives way different than every other front-wheel drive car that he's driven so far.
Yes.
In his quest to drive every car, a different car every season.
Yeah, it is very. It's got a mid-engine car temperamentality with a front-engine setup. So you got all that wonderful weight in the front of the car, but then the characteristics of it wants to behave like it's like that engine's actually sitting behind you. Yes, Mr. Shy.
Is it the mid-front engine where it sits behind the front wheels, or is it over the front axle?
I believe the AMG is actually behind the front axle because it's got that monster bonnet. I mean, the majority of the front end of the car is all intake, if I remember correctly. Max wait time, flying laps do count. Carl Big, 8 almost 9/10 off the pace.
Bump crosses the line. He improved, but didn't move anywhere.
But that'll get him some distance to Wallace, so hopefully that'll give him a bit of a buffer, keep him on the second row. Carl Big coming out of Ingwe right now.
He's about 2.5 tenths up, so he will jump to P5.
You didn't think you could afford me? The merch must be moving. You guys are definitely moving merch much better than I was ever able to. But yeah, it's
Kyle, you underestimate how sweet I can talk to people.
Yeah. So quali over that 40.865 looks like that's going to stand. And Murray and then Bockerton on the front row. Regan and Dave Funk on the second row, Carl Big and Stephen Wallace on the third row. What do you think about this distribution with the silver and bronze?
Well, we expected the Honda to be high, and Regan Luis is out there just goofing around. We know Regan's fast, and he's in a Honda on a Honda track, so we expected him to be up there. Danny before the race was saying that the 650S is the struggle bus this week. So seeing him down there, I mean, P11 is a little bit further down than I would have expected to see him. But he's not like 3 seconds off the pace or anything like that. So it's kind of going to be one of those, just try to be safe. And I don't know what you do with a 650.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. From a pace perspective, I mean, you've got less than a tenth between Murray and Bockerton going into the start of this race. But that blast down to turn one, I'm thinking Honda's probably going to get a little bit better start off the line consistently. But the GTR does have some decent straight line pace. So it's going to be interesting to see in the drag race down to Crowthorne who's going to get out in front. Also, from a pace perspective, the top four all separated by less than a half second. You had some really close times between Carl Big, Stephen Wallace, Gixxer, and Hutch were pretty close together. And then down in the silver category, looking forward to seeing battle between Robeson and Beveridge. And then we're getting down into bronze category. I'm really going to keep my eye on these two McLarens that are in P2, P3 in the bronze division with that Beamer in front. Maka, not really a car that's benefited out too much from the most recent patch, but we'll see how they work out. The key thing for them is going to be getting through lap one with as little damage as possible because the 720S is super sensitive to aero damage.
Yeah, Lukey, Joey Melody, and Ryan Cody need to keep in touch with Max Siggs. If Max is allowed to get out and get free, they're never going to catch him. So those three almost need to not fight each other in order to chase down Max. Because, I mean, as we saw in qualifying, Max is going to be rapid.
Yeah.
And if they start infighting, Max is just going to walk away with it.
it is going to be really tough to stay close to that M4. But again, if they can, I really feel like there's some opportunities here to move up and get some spots.
And then
So
you
yeah,
then you throw in the lower light level as we are starting at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yep, 20 degrees on track, or 20 degrees ambient, 21 degrees on track. Clear skies, but definite cooler temperatures from what we saw before. So everything I said during the qualify session about how you need to maximize your tire life in the heat, you can throw that out the window because I totally didn't know we were going to afternoon times for the race. So
Got
that's
him.
going to be a little bit different. But the good news here is, while tire life might not necessarily be used up in terms of the heat, the cooler temperatures, it's going to be very important for you to maximize getting the heat in your tires on these first 2 laps, especially this out lap. Curb strikes, you want to try and avoid them as much as possible. You don't want to slide while the tire is cold because that's what creates graining. And then once you kind of get the graining surface on the tire, it's just a tire that's going to slide more when you try to actually put load through it. So it's going to be critical for everybody to kind of like take care of their tires on the out lap. Probably be a little bit more conservative on lap 1. You won't have maximum grip, but we'll see how they get on with it in these cooler temperatures.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with the lighter grid that everyone makes it through turn 1. I mean, just a constant thing. It's with every sim race. Turn 1 is always going to be an issue. We have historically not been good at Kyalami turn 1. Actually, it was turn 3, I think, is the one that we had the issue. Everybody kind of made it through turn 1, and they're like, okay, cool, we made it through turn 1. Now we can go crazy, and then turn 3, everybody died. So hopefully get that ironed out.
It's something that I mentioned earlier during the qualify session, is that the real trick with this track is that, especially in Sector 1, you've got that constant like collapsing down of usable tarmac with pretty much as you move through Sector 1 and into Sector 2. The first turn of this track has this massive entry and this super wide runoff area at mid-corner. And then by the time you exit turn 3, you've collapsed down to a track that will barely fit 3 cars side by side.
Yeah, you get that false sense of security, gets you like, oh man, this track is huge. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, it's really big up until the point everyone kind of converges together, and then there's no room. So it's just, they're going to have to be mindful of that as they go through turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 in particular. Looks like they're getting ready to go through Cheetah right now.
Paul mentioned not having a pit timer this week, or a pit window this week, so we'll have to see when the race starts if he went through with that. I don't know that anybody told anybody in the race, so we'll see how that works.
Surprise. They're rolling up to the control line right now. And there we go.
We are away. So Murray with the inside into turn 1. He's gonna drag race the GTR.
Oh man, they're lining up for 3 wide in the second row there. Really conservative. Oh, and there goes an Audi. It spins.
That spunk is turned around backwards. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow flags.
Now that said, Funk was definitely lost out in that engagement, but it looks like the seas parted. There was probably a little bit of contact, a little bit of shuffling. It does not look like there's an active pit window right now, so if people needed to pit for damage, looks like you're good to go. It looks like you guys have a mandatory pit stop requirement. Is that just for tires and fuel?
It is just for fuel.
Ooh, Aston Martin goes sideways through Sunset.
Oh, that is Wallace.
A little bit of carnage as we go into Clubhouse now. Again, the track is starting to close down. People are going to have to start taking a little bit more of a conservative approach.
Yeah, so that was Wallace that turned it, and then I believe Chimilio as well in the Mercedes.
Indeed. Looking right now, you got the camera on Hutch as he is duking it out with Max Diggs. Or no, that's Dylan Beveridge.
Yeah, it's Dylan Beveridge putting the pressure on the 44 of Hutch. You see, Michael Lukey has moved up to P7.
So Murray gets through turn 1, holds on to the lead of this race, 6 tenths back. We got Bockerden and then Regan 6/10 back from him, currently engaged in battle with Mr. Carl Big.
Yeah, Carl and John Jorgensen tucked in right behind them as well. So still pretty stacked up. I mean, Lukey has got the speed down the straight over Danny because he is sucked right up behind him. And he's going to bring Hutch and Dylan Beveridge with him.
Looks like Chameleon lost out big time in lap 1, just limping the car around. And now it looks like he is headed into turn 1 right now, still trying to catch up to the field.
Yeah, he was backwards on track, and I believe Stephen Wallace disconnected. He teleported back to the pit and retired early.
So down to 21. Vulcan Bacherdin trying to chase down Murray in the Honda.
Oh yeah, what's up, Paul? Paul's in the Twitch chat.
Hello, sir.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna have some side-by-side. Hutch is gonna go underneath Jorgensen.
Ooh.
Through crocodiles. Jorgensen's gonna be on his inside. Jorgensen's gonna touch the curb, and he's gonna be off.
Saved it from the wall, though.
Yeah, let's watch the rejoin. Danny is also off behind.
As somebody who has touched your butt, Paul, you're irreplaceable.
Miller is also off, so that corner has claimed multiple cars already.
Oh, Miller, Porsche into the wall. Hopefully that's not terminal.
And we got Luis Castro is going to go up the inside of Joey Meliti into turn 1. Joey's going to get a little loose on exit.
You're neither. Like you're not Alonso or Mick Schumacher in this scenario. I wouldn't compare you to. I mean, from a talent perspective, I hope you would be more in the Mick camp.
This is
because the only thing Alonso's talented at is picking the wrong team.
This is Paul's forced retirement. Like Paul showed up to work on Sunday, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have a job? What?"
Jan Magnussen, there's an awesome, so the F1 Beyond the Grid podcast had an interview with Jan Magnussen talking about his build up to Formula 1 and the kind of mistakes he made going into Formula 1 from Formula 3. And it's fascinating stuff. You should really check it out. Mark Robeson in the Gold School Racing 199 Mercedes down mine shaft in the draft. I believe that's Joey Meliti.
Yeah, I remember we talked about Max Diggs and how the other bronze drivers had to keep track of him or else he's going to get away. He's up to P9 already. Joey's P12.
Yeah, he was following the wake that Pete Hutchings was creating through crocodiles last lap as we were just watching overhead. So Max Diggs just kind of following along and just watching as Pete Hutchings is kind of hustling people around the track and finding openings to get through. Now down the start-finish straightaway, Robeson comes across the line 43.270.
Hutch going to go around the outside of Danny Bison at turn 1.
Up side by side.
Danny's going to retain that. Thank you, ACC cameraman.
Oh yeah. That's always good.
I click on that and then I click to a different camera and it's like, no, you want to look at turn 1.
Yeah, it is very much like your dad.
Oh, Danny pushing a little wide there. Hutch going to go on the outside.
Oh,
nice and clean so far.
This is going to be tough, man. It's so easy for either car to get loose.
And Michael Lukey just sitting right behind him, just waiting to pick up 2 positions.
I don't think that's going to happen because it just seems like these guys are really connected with the cars that they're driving, and it doesn't seem. Oh wow, did they touch?
Lukey almost got into the back end of Danny's car.
Now, AMG doing AMG things on the exit of Leo Cup. Hutch getting a little bit loose. We got Danny lining up on the outside. He's going to have to try and find a line around him as they go into crocodiles. Who's going to dive for the apex first? Looks like Danny tries to get there, but Hutch closes the door. through Cheetah.
Out of the way, these guys just chuck it around that sausage curb.
Man, and I just love how everybody's taking the iRacing line through Cheetah to dip their grass on corner exit there. Don't think it quite works out that way in ACC, but I mean, if you think it's an advantage you can take, try it.
I mean, whatever advantage you can get in this race, because these guys are not going to hold back. Oh, that is that's going to be a kill by Lukey on Danny. That was an ambitious attempt.
Yeah, that was ambitious, and unfortunately, that's going to cost Baisden a lot of places.
Yeah, Danny is
struggling to get the car back out on track. That was just. I think that
is 100% on Lukey.
That was a dive.
Yeah, that was 100%. He tried to outbrake him, and he was just shouldn't have been there. What is the vortex of danger, whatever it is that that Ferris talks about, and how if you try to stick your car in there when that person's already turned in, then it's your fault, even if you're alongside.
The Team Hivemind, Gixxer, and the Honda. Man, I got to get used to Gixxer driving a Honda.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Going into Leo Cup right now, it seems like he's got the car planted on corner exit, and he's trying to catch up to Max Diggs in the 156. They're going down mine shaft. There's probably a huge draft for all these cars as they go down mine shaft because they're not that far apart. So Murray's still in the lead of this race. Volkenbacher in 8/10 back, and then we've got Regan 8/10 back. Carl Big dropped back to 1.2 seconds. Pete Hutchings 5 seconds behind to round out the top 5.
I mean, Regan was almost a second and a half back, but he's dropped a 141 flat race pace to take the fastest lap of the race to close that gap quite a bit. Yeah, this 6 through 11 battles. Oh, Max Diggs is sideways. And he's going to get kind of righted?
Tagged. Yeah, he got tagged by Gixxer. Not really much that Gixxer could do on corner entry.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Gixxer's probably going to have a little front end damage, but that also righted Max because Max was going to fix it to spin the car, and it actually put him back on track.
Indeed. Now, that's going to put him within striking distance of Luis Castro, who's going to try and attack with this Aston Martin that he's running this season. And then you're following
we got
Castro. You got Robertson Savage and Dylan Sauer.
Yeah, these guys are all packed together. So the front three have got about a second and a half gap over P4, but for the most part, these guys are still tightly packed together.
So we got
Dylan Sauer going to try to sneak it up the inside of Joby. Dylan Sauer in the Audi there.
It's good racing. 20 degrees on track. Optimum conditions. Cold temperatures, though. Wonder how many people got their tire pressures wrong going into this race. Could be struggling with some graining. This is just such a nicely compacted battle in the midfield.
Oh, yeah. Funk is yellow flagged. I think he just ran wide to the dirt.
Off track at Cheetah. Danny Baisden up to 19th now, chasing down, now 18th, chasing down Ryan Cody next into sights.
So we got Michael Lukey followed by John Jorgensen. We got Honda and Honda.
Yep.
If these guys can link up, I mean, they're different categories, so if they can link up and push each other.
Yeah, I figure drafting around here can be a pretty powerful strategy. You've got some real tight windy bits, but
Lukey got loose.
Yes, that was big drifto.
So Jorgensen is going to move through.
That is not that kind of Honda. So.
Yeah, cue the Tokyo drift music.
So Gixxer going through the S's now. This is a part of the course that I feel like people, especially with the sun going down, it's potential to them to misjudge on braking into the S's. And the only thing that's going to catch you is the gravel on the other side. John Lukey in the Garage 59 chasing down Joey Melitti, so some McLaren on McLaren action. Who is Daniel Ricciardo? Who is Lando Norris in this relationship?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Confirmed.
Which
All
one?
right, so
I don't know.
the going into Crocodiles right now, so they're within striking distance of Dylan Sauer in the 43 Audi.
Oh, Joey's gonna catch some air there on the curb.
Yep,
So
but
John
he
Luke
is going to be able to save it from the wall, so that's good.
Yeah, a lot of people touching that curb.
It's dangerous. Spaghetti adventure line. Oh man. Luis Castro making the move on Max Diggs, or at least showing him that he's there.
Having a look.
Yeah, see, that right there was the door got shut on you when you're trying to take the late lunge, and therefore the only answer you got is you can either hit him or park it, and he chose to park it.
Yeah, he parked it. Now he's got Robles right up his rear.
47 minutes, 17 seconds left in round 3 of Kyalami. Again, man, New World Sim Racing Pint Series 10. I can't believe you guys have gotten 10 of these under your belt.
Yeah, and
that's impressive.
It sounds like we're going to keep going. So
it's a lot of fun. Sunday racing and ACC, for the folks that don't pay attention, like, you've got so much good GT3 action on a Sunday night. You got Box 3 at 3 p.m. You got New World at 6. You got Tracklicious at 9. Like, you got 3 different leagues running GT3 cars on Sunday. I'm still waiting to see if anybody's going to be brave enough to actually just like try and run like the what we call it? We call it like the ACC Triple Crown on Sunday, like trying to win all 3 leagues on Sunday.
Oh my God! If somebody does that, that would be amazing. Yeah. Is there anybody that's in all 3 leagues?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think there's that much overlap between the 3 leagues.
That's Vulcan a lot of drive.
Vulcan does, I know, some RIP community racing as well.
Yeah, he was doing Porsche Cup this morning. So last week, Vulcan did a 24-hour race, and then did Porsche Cup on Sunday morning, and then did our race Sunday afternoon.
And that's also doing the Mini Enduro Mayhem on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know how the guy is still alive.
Well, I mean, he's really good at the game. He puts in the time and effort into it, and he prepared for it well, because I think he ended up winning like 4 out of 5 of those races.
Yeah, he came in and won Silverstone here.
The margins between Joseph Savage and Dylan Sauer right now are negligible through most of these corners.
Dylan Sauer just looking for a way through.
It is really good, this mid-pack battle. At the front, though, Vulcan Bakkerton has gained a little bit. Got that gap down now to about 3/10, little under 4/10.
He's keeping Murray honest. But they have pulled a bit more of a gap on Regan. I mean, Regan 2 seconds back.
Carl Big is actually dropped back just a little bit more, but is keeping his eye on Regan.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, how viable is the undercut overcut here?
I feel like the undercut's pretty strong. I feel like the undercut is pretty strong. The part where the overcut, in particular, in this kind of race, if you guys are requiring fuel and tires, yes?
No, we only require fuel. It's a fixed 25-second fuel. If you want to take tires, it's an extra 5 seconds. That's on you.
Okay. All right. So the thing that is different here about the overcut, which is going to be really tough. It's going to be really, really tough. Is you guys have that fixed timer and no tire requirement. If you guys did not have fixed time and something like a tire requirement or something like that, it'd be really interesting to see somebody basically overfuel their car at a start, carry more fuel than they need to get through the first stint, so that when they hit the box, if they want to take fuel with that non-fixed fuel time, fuel goes in pretty quick in these cars. I forgot how many liters in a second can go into a GT3 car, but if you were overfueling without that fixed time and you had a tire change requirement, like, you could do some pretty interesting strategies. Well, actually, I flip that. If you didn't have the tire requirement, like you guys currently do not have, so
right.
That would be pretty interesting. So I really feel like the undercut will be pretty viable, especially if it gets you into clear air, because the thing that is going to make whether an overcut or an undercut works in your favor is what's the traffic situation like. Midfield, not really going to be valuable Up at the front, that's a different story.
Well, they have the flag guy waving a meatball flag. Who doesn't have their lights on?
That's probably what it is. I was wondering what it could be.
It's probably Luis. That's something that Luis would do. He's going to shut his lights off and drive around for a while. And he's going to be on the inside of Dylan Beveridge. He's going to touch the curb. They are going to go too wide through there.
Dylan sneaking it around the outside, though. Going to stay in front into Ingwe.
And Max Diggs on the inside. He's going to get outrun by Martin Robeson on the outside.
Yeah, one of the things from a pit strategy perspective that I'm going to be looking for is like who's going to be doing the half and half, who's doing the 70-30 kind of strategy. Is that viable here? It's going to be interesting to find out. I really feel like a 70-30 strategy is actually, or 30-70 would actually be pretty viable around here for an undercut. Like if you're pitting from the front of the field, get into some clear air, making sure you got 70% of your fuel to get to the end of the race, that would be pretty good, especially if you can pump in fast laps and clear air.
Yeah, Max Diggs is absolutely getting mobbed right now. Luis Castro took him on the inside of turn 1 last lap, and then Joby Savage did it to him this lap, and now he's got Dylan Sauer behind him. So his buffer between him and John Lukey is shrinking.
Indeed. So you got John Lukey, who's found his way around Melitti, and now Sauer is the only thing separating Diggs from the rest of the bronze category. And look at that, you got Lukey just knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Dylan Sauer, what are you thinking right now? Because you're not racing any of these guys for points.
Well, Dylan Sauer wants to get by Max Diggs because you got the rest of his class up ahead. So he's looking for any opportunity he can. And John Lukey, I mean, if you can keep tucked in behind Dylan Sauer, if Dylan Sauer opens the door, you can sneak through it as well and follow him past Max Diggs.
John Jixer looks like he's going to take the pit strategy. This might be the 70-30 plan that I was talking about.
Joby must have went off because he has just dropped 2 or 3 spots. I think I heard him go through the sand after the sausage curb. Yeah, Dylan Sauer is finally going to make this move on Max Diggs up the inside on turn 1.
Oh man, they almost came together.
Yeah, because he was on the inside, he was slow on the exit, and Max Diggs is going to try to push past him. Oh, John Lukey behind is going to run wide. He's almost going to Joey Melitti.
Wow.
And Ryan Cody's going to split him. So Ryan Cody's going to pick up a twofer on the McLarens.
That right there was good on everybody involved. I mean,
yeah, Lukey
sucks that Lukey lost control, but everybody seemed to keep their heads on straight. And
Joey
like
managed
got out of that without contact.
Joey managed to avoid him, but yeah, Ryan Cody will take that all day long.
Now here's the problem with the McLarens behind this Lexus right now. They are going to have to figure out in sectors 1 and 2 how to find their way around Ryan Cody, because right now he's going to drop down this mountain and he's going to drive away. And
they also have Barrett in the GTR behind them, who is also going to have legs on the straight.
Yep. This right here is some aerodynamic powerhouses in a part of the track where power is the dominant. Oh, man.
John Lukey trying to go up the inside.
Now, the problem is that's going to set up, it's going to compromise his exit out of Crocodile. So
Joey Melitti has had enough of that. He's going to dive into the pit.
That was probably a smart play.
I
feel like the 73, I'm starting to think maybe the 70-30 strategy, if you're dealing with the fights on track and stuff like that, might be the play. The thing that's going to hurt Joey Melitti, the likes of Joey Melitti when he comes out of the pits, is he going to get out before the leader gets around? Because he's going to want to get some time to himself on track before he's going to have to start dealing with blue flags.
Yeah, what is a pit stop here? I feel like he should be able to make it out before. John Lukey's going to run wide again on the same corner he did last lap, and he's going to concede that position to Barrett.
What I can tell you right now is just based on Jixer's data alone, we're looking at a pit stop delta of a minute 4 from line to line, minute 4.2. So let's take a look at Meliti as he's in the pit box right now. He's at 58 seconds, 59 seconds now. So I'm going to keep my eye on that.
Yeah, Murray is coming into the final corner now, and Joey is entering turn 1.
So Joey Meliti, 3 seconds faster. Oh, wait a minute, hang on, no.
So
My math's wrong.
Joey came out of the pit.
No, he didn't come out. No, 1 point. He came out of the pit 5 seconds slower than Gixxer, which that kind of makes sense to me. Gixxer, he's done a lot of endurance racing, done a lot of pit stops in his sim racing career. Joey Meliti, a lot younger, a lot more inexperienced, but still a pretty good pit stop. 1.2 seconds between what is that? Is Gixxer in the gold category?
Yeah, he's a gold
category.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised by that, but 1.2 seconds difference. In terms of cycling out on track, let me go pull up Mr. Meliti now. He has, I'm going to give him somewhere around 12 seconds between him and Murray right now. He's going to want to make hay while the sun is down and try and get as much ground covered as possible before the race leader comes around.
What was that saying?
It's make hay while the sun is hay while the sun is down.
Yeah. What?
It's I just flipped the phrase around. It's dumb. You can laugh at it all you want to. It's fine. So 11.5 seconds between Meliti and Murray right now. Baisden right in front right now. Also good to the pit regulations. And then Gixxer another well, actually I'm waiting to see what Meliti's delta is to Baisden right now.
Yeah, Joey came out of the pit in front of Danny and then let him go in turn 1.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I understand why Joey might be inclined to do that sort of thing because Danny's faster. The thing is, he has to take advantage because he just did a 150.7 on his outlap. Murray did a 141.6. Talking about lap times right now, Vulcan Bakkerton has about 2/10 advantage on Murray right now. I'm looking at average lap times, 41.644 to a 41.662. So on the average, Murray is doing better, but here towards the tail end of the stint, it does look like Vulcan's starting to pick up the pace.
So that might be Honda tire things. I mean, we're almost halfway through the race, so his tires might be struggling a little bit. Yep. Regan's still holding that fastest lap. I mean, he is, I'm still in qualifying.
Regan is pretty quick right now. Regan's last lap was a
42.127, yeah.
Which is going to definitely keep him in a position to hold off Carl Big.
Yeah, him and Carl running about the same lap times. Dylan Sauer.
He has the best lap.
Dylan Sauer has the best lap. Yeah, Regan does. A 41 flat, yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's wild, dude. A 41 flat in a race.
In a race trim, yeah. Dylan Sauer's going to go around the outside of Mark Robeson.
Now, the thing is, Robeson's got the inside line through the S's, but he's going to let Sauer go.
Yeah, Dylan has cleared him.
So that's probably Robeson taking the more conservative approach to that section. Fighting in the S's is possible, but man, you get it wrong, and it's just going to punish you. You're going to lose so many spots.
And Dylan has been a man on a mission so far.
Dylan up into 10th now, inside the top 10. Joseph Savage 3 seconds back. Ryan Cody within striking distance of starting to engage these silver drivers.
Yeah, Ryan Cody was the bronze class winner last week at Silverstone. So looking for a repeat, depending on where Max Diggs comes out, because Max has completed his pit stop.
So Max Diggs came out, and it looks like from the Delta, looks like Joey Meliti found his way around him. There's 5 seconds, almost 4 seconds between Joey Meliti and Max Diggs right now.
Did Max just have a bad pit stop?
We're about to find out. Yep, a 114.7.
Oh.
So leaving upwards of what is that? 9 seconds on the table. That is a huge deficit.
Yeah,
that he's gonna have to try and figure out now.
A 10-second difference. You gotta wipe out a lead real quick.
Now, the other thing we haven't talked about yet, are we going to be dealing with some drive-through penalties for track limits in a 1-hour sprint race at Kyalami? Because the track limits can be pretty punishing around here.
It is definitely possible. We did a 1-hour sprint race at Donington, and Nick Alvarado got 3 drive-throughs.
Which is impressive.
And
you know
then
what that is?
And then he had 3 more warnings when the race ended.
So what you're telling me is he had 15 track cut.
That's what
All right, cool.
That's what I'm saying.
All right,
is the No World Sim Racing drive-through leader. It was Ryan Cody last season at Coda. Ryan Cody got 2 drive-throughs, so Nick Alvarado has taken.
Undercut deployed for both Vulcan Bockerton and Regan Leckman, both going into the pits right now. They're going to get set up, get their pit stop done for the mandatory regs, and be good to the end of the race. We're going to wait and see what it looks like, though, with Marcus Murray, as he's going to try and extend as far as he can take it. I'm looking at his configuration right now on the Honda in the 38, and running TC2, TC11. TC11 for the slip control. Is that like the magic number for the Honda?
That's pretty much what everybody runs. That's what Nick Alvarado runs, and Ryan when he ran the Honda.
That is such aggressive interference on slip, but man, if it works, hey, that's great. ABS 5 running a 48.2 on his brake bias, running MAP 4 for the fastest fuel burn and pace output, and he's in the lead of this race.
I mean, the guy's running
to see how it works out.
He's running 41s. I'm not going to question how he does it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm not going to question how he does it as if it question whether or not it works. I have questions about how he does it, because that to me seems like a very interesting traction control configuration. But still, putting out great lap times, nothing to shake a stick at. Just waiting to see when he's going to pull the trigger on a pit stop, which is not going to be this lap, because he's going through Ingwe right now to start. What is this going to be? Lap number 17?
I believe so, yeah. So he is about to catch up to car 156 Max Diggs. So he's going to be catching backmarker traffic. I think as soon as he starts catching backmarker traffic, that's a good time to dive in. Hutch is going to pit from P3.
From P3, wow. Oh, but wait a minute, we had both Vulcan and Regan.
Yeah, we're going through the pit cycle, but
yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out who takes tires. That's another thing that we didn't factor in with Max Diggs' pit stop, being that extra time on the table, being around 9 seconds. 5 of that could have been tires.
Yeah, but most people, I would assume, would take tires unless you're really good at managing them. I mean, being colder temperatures, you can make them last longer, but for the most part, I think everybody's going to take tires. I think Max might have just either had some. Oh, he did have some damage, so maybe he fixed that damage when he got tagged by Jordan.
Might have had it he might have not had it unchecked when he went to the pits. That definitely could have been a factor.
Yeah, we got the
44.
McLaren's back at it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We've got John Lukey, Joey Meliti. Halfway point is done and dusted, and the 44 now rolling out of pit lane, rejoining traffic. We still got the 89 in the box. Trying to look and see who else we got in the box.
That's right now. Joby Savage and John Barrett, the 87 and 89.
Interesting. So 89 running out on track now. So is the 87, and the race leader is in.
Yeah, Mark's
I've got the number 3 is off track, teleported to the pits.
Oh, that
Dave
is
Chimilio.
Dave Chimilio. And Dave Chimilio, I don't think he's been enjoying the AMG this season.
So 38 in the pit box right now. I'm going to take a look at where is Vulcan Bockerton right now. Just now exiting Leo Cup now, headed down to the fastest section of the track with the 38 Honda of Marcus Murray in the pits right now. We're going through Crocodiles right now on approach to Cheetah. Still waiting to see. 38 just fell off the Jackson, is now rolling down the pit road. He's got a good exit out of the pits. I think he might have enough time. This may be a race down to the start-finish line, or not to start-finish line, but down to turn 1. Vulcan Bockerton on his right. Vulcan might have pulled it off.
Vulcan cleared him.
Wow. And man, the margins between them right now are not much to shake a stick at all. Let me take a look real quick.
Oh, they had identical, or no, Murray spent 1 second longer in the pit. They were stopped for the same amount of time. So it's
Interesting.
like the entry or the exit or something like that was the difference.
Had to have cost him. Yeah. So Murray with a 103.5 and Vulcan Bakkerton with a 102.2. Wow. And look at the distance between them right now. We're waiting for the sector times to come in, but I'm betting it's going to be somewhere under a second between Murray and Bakkerton.
They're at 9/10 now. They were a little bit less when they first started this lap, but Vulcan's tires are going to be warmed up better, so Murray's losing a little bit of pace to him. He's dropping off a little bit.
So the undercut really making it work here at Kyalami. Joey Melitti's one out. Vulcan Bakkerton is one out. So definitely seems like getting into the clear air will help you out. Although I don't know really how clear Vulcan's air was by the time he got out on track.
Joey and John Lukey were just side by side. And they're about to have Max Diggs all up in their business as well.
Ooh.
So this is going to be a three-way battle for third in bronze, as Barrett came out well clear, about a second and a half behind Ryan Cody.
So Ryan Cody, with the action that's been happening between these three pretty much for a good chunk of the race, really winning out when he had to split the two McLarens on the exit of Clubhouse, and is looks like he might be lined up for a class win here if he can hang on.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about for the race that these guys had to keep track of Max Diggs, and then Max, caught that damage, and I believe he repaired it because his car doesn't look damaged anymore.
Yeah.
But the McLarens still fight each other, and Barrett has kind of been on his own.
Ooh.
Oh, Joey's going to lose it.
Oh, but he keeps it out of the wall. Can he get it rotated fast enough
before
the
here
race
comes
leader's
Carl
coming
Big.
around the corner?
He's going to wait. He's blocking the pit entry as Carl tries to enter.
Man, that is unfortunate, dude. The snap oversteer on the exit of Cheetah just catches Joey Melitti out.
Oh, Dylan Beveridge, as we flip to him, is in the grass. Where did he go? He is in the wall. We go back 15 seconds here.
What happened?
So he exits on the grass. I think he's still accelerating. Just whiskey throttle. And into the wall.
Yeah, once he started having the tank slapping going on, it was just over. He wasn't on any part of the track where you could get traction.
Spinala.
Yes, Kyle Spinala. So, I mean, Beveridge is having a great race up until there.
Kyalami is really treacherous track. It can be really testing.
Murray
Carl
just
Big
put in his best lap of 41.2, so 6/10 faster than Vulcan's last lap, and he's closed within a second.
Yeah, he's within a second now. Carl Big cycles out behind Regan. How far back, though?
Oh, we have Danny and Barrett are both yellow flagged.
Oof. Danny going through crocodiles. Looks like those two might have come together. Hopefully there's no significant damage to either car and they can finish this one out. They got 24 minutes, 26 seconds left.
Yeah, I think Barrett just lost a position to Dylan Sauer, but not to anybody for class position. Bunk is yellow flagged. He is in the the gravel, and he
right on the
is
exit of Cheetah.
Not here anymore. So Funk is going to call that one with 24 minutes to go.
Kyalami's tough, man. It's just a tough race.
I mean, Funk was involved in the turn one issue, and then it's just kind of been a struggle from there. And
yeah, after that, it was pretty tough. But taking a look through the data right now, Carl Big trying to chase down Regan. He does have a pretty healthy gap to Hutch, so definitely going to be possible for him to hang on to P4, but we're going to see if he can amp up his pace figures and see if he can take the fight to Regan. But Regan's running, man, Regan's last lap was a 41.7. Carl Big on his outlap. We haven't seen his true pace yet, so we're gonna see right now 47.5. So that definitely something must have happened on that lap for him to pump in a 47.5.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that was his out lap. I'm a complete idiot. The larger time was his in lap because he was going down pit road. Anyway,
Right.
ignore me.
Thank you for the follow. I'm not sure what it kind of looks like. Porn joke, PRNJKE. Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Carl's going to need to change his undies after the pit entry fiasco, but him and Joey did not come together, so I think that's gonna end up being okay. Luis Castro in 7th,
like
chasing down John Jixter now.
That's a new one. That's not something I've ever encountered. Is trying to go into a pit and having a car sideways in the pit entry.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're out of fuel and you scheduled to stop on that lap, it's like, man, I got to get in there.
Yeah. Reason why I was mentioning Luis, though, is that Luis is somebody who is definitely seems like he is improving in his second stint. Was about 7/10 up on his previous best lap. Don't remember where he ended up in terms of his lap time, but right now he is currently 3/4 up as he exits Leo Cup, now blasting down towards Mineshaft.
Yeah, the fun thing about Luis is he drove the Mercedes last season and didn't like it. He was like, I'm done with GT3. I don't want to do anymore. And then he got roped into doing Vulcan Series by, I believe he's with Joby. It's him and Luis are doing a duo. And he had a lot of fun at Watkins, I think is the one he did. And he's like, hey, add me to the Pint, put me in the Aston. Yep. And now he's had a nice, quiet race. And like, I don't want to discount Regan, but if you take Regan out of the equation, because maybe he should be a gold driver, Luis, nice quiet race is leading, you know, or sitting P2 technically in the silver category.
Yeah, handedly. Like, so hats off to him. Definitely seems like he's got some pace, and both him and Joseph Savage are pretty quick in that Aston, in the Vulcan Mini Mayhem. I mean, they're pretty quick relative to me in the M4.
Well, Luis is the slow car master. He's the GT4 M2 champ. Yeah. Like, the guy can drive anything. And maybe it's just the turbo lag just makes him feel like he's in a GT4 or slower car, and it just makes it work for him.
I do like his style on having the infinite right indicator on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, still pumping in some pretty quick laps. We're gonna keep our eye on Luis.
Well, he has a livery that I haven't loaded yet, and typically on the back of his car it'll say, if the indicator's flashing, I'm aroused. And so he just drives with it all the time because apparently he's always ready to go.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Looking through the data right now, only close fights you got going on. So Murray 8/10 from Vulcan Bockerton, who is made out like a bandit after the pit stops. John Barrett, Dylan Sauer, about 8/10 between them. Robeson and Lukey, about 9/10 between them. Yeah, those are the fights right now as we get into the last 20 minutes of this race. Yeah,
there's some things that could become battles. I mean, you got Max Diggs and John Lukey are about a second and a half or so behind Barrett and Dylan Sauer. So those guys could theoretically catch up if Dylan Sauer holds up Barrett at all. Yeah,
B had no warning until last lap, and now he's got 2 track cuts.
Nice.
19 minutes is a long time to drive around and not get a track cut at night because it is getting cold, it is getting dark.
Yeah, Murray keeping Vulcan honest up there in P2. He was 2/10 faster last lap, so keeping within a second.
This is the tough part for Vulcan because, man, he's locked in. Let's see here.
Oh, John Lukey under a yellow flag coming out of turn 3. It's that same corner he's been having trouble with all race long.
Oh, coming out of barbecue?
Yeah,
barbecue and clubhouse are corners that are pretty identical in terms of like how they're structured, but the way that you approach them is pretty different because coming out of that like dip at the exit of turn 1, and then the uphill climb into barbecue is kind of awkward. And then with Clubhouse, you do not have the same kind of runoff area you have out of barbecue. Even the corner is kind of similar, so it's just tricky. You approach the corners. The corners are the same, but the approach is different.
Yeah, it's the weird entries, the ones where you're almost breaking away from the corner, and then you have to hook it around, and
exactly.
That one always throws me off. And then there's the rise, and yeah, I've had issues there as well.
Well, yeah, the variable radius corners are very tricky. I mean, it's just one of those. It's one of the characteristics. It's one of the charms of Kyalami. Looking right now as Luis Castro moving through lap traffic. Again, he's just doing work. He's putting about 4 seconds between him and Lukey and the 33 Honda. Let's take a look at fight with Barrett Sauer right now. Actually, Joseph Savage, you got the camera on Joseph Savage as he's catching Ryan Cody. We got some.
I just wanted to listen to the Lexus for a lap.
Yeah, the Lexus is a wonderful sounding machine, and we got 2 of them basically fighting for position right now. So this is what I was talking about. So they're going into Clubhouse right now. The thing about Clubhouse is, so with barbecue, you're going through Juke Sweep after turn 1. You're not really up to speed yet. But when you go into Clubhouse, you've gone through Sunset, which is a high-speed right-hand corner. You're carrying a lot of pace up to a corner that's about the same in terms of its structure, which is very different. You got to approach braking very different. I think that's something that Joseph Savage was talking about before the stream.
Sounds like a lot of nerd racing stuff there. No.
Well, for me, the thing that I love about commentating races, about calling races, about watching races, is it's very interesting to see the kinds of, because I mean, from like a structure perspective, it's very much like almost like a rhythm game in terms of like you've got times when you're on throttle, times when you're off throttle, turn in, break points. Do you come off the brake slow? Do you come off the brake fast? Like that sort of thing is one of the things that I've always found very interesting about watching people's approaches to corners, because you got different car types, they behave differently, you've got different kinds of drivers, setups can be different, all sorts of stuff can be involved. It's a very physical sport. It's one of the reasons why I like it so much. Seven tenths between Murray and Bockerton.
Yeah, they're holding steady. I mean, Vulcan's last lap of 41.2, a dirty lap, and then Murray put in his new best lap of 41.1.
Max Diggs just took 6 tenths out of Barrett.
No, Lukey is sideways. Let's go back 15 seconds and see what happened to Lukey. Oh, he touches the curb in the Honda.
Yep. In the S's, it's one of the parts of the track that can be pretty treacherous, especially in the night, because Kyalami, there is no lighting except on the start-finish straightaway, pretty much. All you got is headlamps.
Yeah, it is completely dark out there. There's nothing.
Looking right now.
Yeah, Max Diggs all over the back of Barrett for P2 in bronze. I hear somebody else driving through the sand. So Max, even after the damage and the long pit stop, currently on the podium in bronze, looking to move up to the second tier.
Yeah, he just seems to be well connected with the M4. He just seems to understand that car very well. Maybe I ought to ask him for some pointers when we go into the Vulcan series, because I struggle with that car. Barcelona was a really good race for me. Probably one of the best races I've ever done. But I still feel like I don't understand that car, and I think Suzuka is going to be tough, to say the least.
Well, Max is driving the Honda in Vulcan series.
yeah. Ask me how I know.
And I watched them drive. Yeah, I watched the Watkins race, but he was really fast at Watkins. Like he's gonna.
Yes, he was.
He's gonna hold
Yep.
Barrett on the outside here, and they're gonna go side by side into the S's.
Bear's
oh no,
not
Barrett's
letting
gonna
up.
get touched. That's a little bit of a touch. I think that might have been rubbing his race, and I'm not sure yet. Penalty reviews on Wednesday.
It's tough to see that sort of thing happen because it's like again, we were talking about this at the beginning of the stream. The way that the track collapses down in terms of like entry into the S's, going through the mid corner part from the left to the right hand section, like you don't have a lot of room, and they're going through it side by side. The margins are super slim.
Yeah, and Max Diggs. I mean that curve on the left has that massive bump that we just watched Lukey drive over and lose it, and so Max is trying not to be on that curb. And
I think they did touch. I think they did come together.
I think it was the ACC jelly bean physics, because I don't think Barrett's car should have spun that way.
Yeah.
Considering the way they touched. So I think, you know, in normal cars you'd have been okay, but in ACC, it's just the cars collide and bounce, and it's terrible.
Ryan Cody is got only a half second between him and Joseph Savage right now, so the Lexuses are coming, or excuse me, the Lexus are coming together.
The Lexus or Lexi?
Nope, it's Lexus.
Okay.
If you ask Toyota, the plural is Lexus. I will die on this hill. No,
I believe you.
So Mike Lukey and Max Diggs now separated by about 0.3. Barrett seemed to have lost out by quite a bit. He's about almost 4 seconds back from Mike Lukey.
He'll be looking around the outside of the hairpin.
Yep. Leo Cup is one of those tricky corners. You talked about it before. You got the rise and then that bump right before you go into corner entry, and it's variable radius because you've got this super tight hairpin and immediately following a kind of like very lazy left-hand kink before you start to go downhill. It's one of those corners that's very tricky, and if you watch, if you put an overhead camera right over it, I bet you'd see 19 different lines going into that corner.
Oh, I take a horrible line to there. I don't think I've taken the hairpin correctly once. Because I know you're supposed to aim for the billboard on the far side and brake when you crest or something like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I always feel like I lose time there. It's
tough. Half second between these two right now. That is definitely the closest fight on track right now. 1.189 between Marcus Murray and Vulcan Bockerton right now. So Vulcan has got that clear air in front of him, and he is moving. Although he's actually about to run into some back marker traffic.
Oh, Michael Lukey with a massive send on Max Diggs into turn 1. Oh, Max is going to touch him under braking. Lukey's going to go off.
That one looked a little net, Cody.
Max
I do feel like it was a...
Max is going to wait. We got... I think that's Barrett coming through.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that's the gentlemanly thing to do.
And Danny's also going to come through, and then you have John Lukey also looking to get on this.
Oh man, that was rough. That was rough to watch.
Yeah, that was
my heart.
Lukey trying to get back up to speed, Max trying to wait for him, and everybody else is like, "I'm not waiting. I didn't do anything."
About 0.3 down on the gap now. Murray's starting to reel in Vulcan Bockerton. Last lap was a 41.3 to Vulcan Bockerton's 41.7.
Yeah, he's glued to the back end of him, but that gap is just sitting at about 0.8. I keep an eye on it, and I mean they're both running around the mid 141s, like 141.3 for Murray and 141.7, and then Regan ran a 141.5, so not making any headway there. So I mean Murray, I don't know if he's hoping for some traffic, like they're about to catch up to Dylan Beveridge.
And see, when they catch Dylan Beveridge, they got another 8 seconds before they catch Joey Melitti. So I think with the 8 minutes and 28 seconds we got left in this race, blue flags are probably not going to be that much of a factor once they clear.
Yeah, there's a huge gap from Joey to that huge gaggle of 12 through 16 led by Barrett. I mean, if you look at the track map, everybody's kind of spread out except for like those 5 cars.
Yeah.
And like all their numbers overlap.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. The pain train.
Yeah, this is one of those things where like you're trying to catch the guy ahead of the guy ahead of you, and it's like, man, could you just get out of the way? But he's trying to get around the guy that you're racing. Ugh.
Everybody's racing. Everybody's racing somebody different.
Well, yeah, I mean, Joey and I did the IMSA race this morning in iRacing, and we were running the LMP2, and it's also a GT3. Yeah. And I went through Le Mans onto the back straight going down to Sunset, and there was probably 5 or 6 GT3s and 3 or 4 LMP2s all mixed together, weaving in and around each other. Oh, Lukey with a huge dive is going to run Barrett off the road. Barrett's going to return to the garage with 7 minutes to go.
Oof. That's unfortunate.
What is going out? And Barrett has left the race with 7 minutes to go. So I think our driving standards have just gone out the window.
Yeah, it does seem like people are not willing to leave anything on the table this race. That's for sure. Danny Bazin, after some early first stint drama, trying to work his way up through the field in the 650.
I think Danny's just trying to not be involved in this. Like, these guys apparently have some sort of chip on their shoulder because they are bumping into each other and running each other off, and it's a little ridiculous, if I'm being honest.
Looking at the data now, Marcus Murray, 5.5 tenths approximately between him and Volkenbacher right now. He's really started to step up the pace. About 3 tenths between him and Vulcan last lap. Advantage towards Marcus Murray. So the 3.8 Honda is starting to gain ground.
Yeah, can Vulcan hang on for the next 5.5 minutes and take all 3 races? Can he get the hat trick in the GTR, no less? Yeah, there is no traffic for quite a ways in front of them.
Some folks we have not talked about that much this race. Mr. Pete Hutchings, 9 seconds back from Carl Big, but just doing his thing after being off for so long.
Yeah, he's got Jorgensen has just creeped within a second.
Yeah, the fight between those two might heat up as we get close to the, well, actually we crossed the 5-minute mark. We're in the last stretch of this race. Yeah, and who else? Mark Robeson, 8.2 back, but looking at a third spot in silver category, just running his race.
Yeah, nice quiet podiums are good.
Castro and Robinson look like they've just been running a real quiet game, and it looks like it's working out for them.
Yeah, Robinson just dropped his fastest lap of the race, a 42 flat, so out there hammering out laps.
8 p.m. Is the on-track time. It is 19 degrees on track. Cold temperatures out here in Johannesburg, South Africa. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left in this race. Volkenbacher in lead, Marcus Murray in second, and Regan Leckman in third.
Just taking a look back at Max Diggs, Michael Lukey, and Danny Bison going at it again. See if Max can make him. I mean, none of them are for class position. Max Diggs pretty much has P2 in bronze locked up, unless John Lukey can figure out how to gain 3 seconds. Barrett says 3rd time's the charm. Have you been murdered in all 3 races? Thank you for the follow, Sweaty Palms. Spelled like palms, like palm tree. So Murray, the closest he's been in a while, 3/10 off of Vulcan. Really pushing the last couple laps.
Oh, you've been punted 3 times tonight. Oof.
Oh, yeah. I don't know
That's rough.
what was going on in bronze, silver, but
there was a mist. There was a mist in the air.
Yeah, let's call it that.
Marcus, TCRT Fitzy.
Yeah, Marcus Murray.
Marcus Murray.
Yeah, Jorgensen not gonna let Hutch cruise to the end of the
P5.
race. Gonna make him work for it.
Hutch is gonna have to figure out. He's got 2 laps to get ready to mount a defense.
Yeah, Murray has dropped back to 9/10 again. So
I'm just watching Luis Castro. I flip back over to him, turning his headlights off, turning them on, flashing them.
yeah, he's
ridiculous.
just out there having a fun time. Joseph Savage, I believe, just lost a position to Dylan Sauer. So Dylan Sauer up into P4
Silver category, yep.
in silver.
Look at the gap between Ryan Cody, Max Diggs, man. Ryan Cody benefiting from those early shenanigans has just driven off in the bronze category.
I'm telling you, Ryan, if he can, like, when he has a clean race, the guy is good. Like, he can manage his car. He may not be the fastest guy out there, but he runs clean, consistent laps. And a lot of the time, that's all you got to do.
Vulcan Bakerding coming across the line. This is the final lap of the race. 7/10 between him and Marcus Murray. TCRT Fitzy with the follow there.
What's up, Fitzy? Oh, Vulcan was asking what Murray's name is.
Yeah.
Sizing up his competition.
I mean,
or is he trying to recruit him to a racing team?
Hey, why not, man? Murray's pretty quick. Still a 10th between Gixxer and Hutch, it looks like, as we're on the final lap of the race.
Well, what I'm really sad about is Andrew Rados is not here this week. He is also a Honda driver, and he is the one who harassed Vulcan for most of last week at Silverstone. So had Rados been here, this would have been a really spicy 1-2-3 battle.
Yes. 6/10 between them right now. Gixxer does find his way around Pete Hutchings now. Pete Hutchings down 3/10. So Hutch losing his grips on 5th place.
Did Hutch take tires? Is he struggling out there?
I don't know if Hutch took tires. That seems like a kind of Hutch
It seems
move.
like a Hutch thing, right? That's 5 seconds.
I mean, here's the thing. Hutch is like, can make some of the biggest brain strategy calls I've ever seen. So he is a person who tends to roll the dice. Most of the time, he comes out on the right end of it.
Here we go, Vulcan through the final corner. He is going to hang on. And he will be your race winner.
Round 3 of the Pint Series. Kyalami's in the books. We've got Vulcan Bakerd and Marcus Murray in 1st and 2nd. Lechtman is coming around.
Yeah, Riggins going to pick up P3. Solid drive from him. Carl, who we haven't really talked about a whole lot other than his shenanigans and a couple battles early on, is going to pick up a quiet P4. That's P3 overall in gold.
And John Gixxer exiting Ingway right now, going to cement himself in the top 5. 4th in pro class. Pete Hutchings with a 5th in pro class after a long time off. Luis Castro, to be honest, like Luis Castro, pretty much the silver winner, because what is Regan doing in silver, dude? He's got so much pace. Mark Robeson coming across the line 8th, and Ryan Cody 9th. Dylan Sauer looks like he's going to finish out 10th. That's your top 10.
Yeah, Ryan Cody back-to-back bronze winner.
And he was giving Sauer a scrap.
Oh yeah, Dylan Sauer going to finish P10 with Joby right behind him. And here comes the GOAT across in P12, followed by Lukey and Max Diggs. Joey's out there somewhere. Dylan Beveridge is finished. Dave Miller also finished.
That's a tough race, man. That was a tough race. There was some contact, but there also was some really good strategy. There was some good strategy. There was some good pit stop calls. I feel like the undercut definitely worked out in Vulcan's favor. I felt like it could have worked out in Joey's favor if there hadn't been the slide out of Cheetah.
Yeah, Murray in the Twitch chat says I'm sweaty.
Good deal, man. Good race, man. You're super fast in the Honda.
Yeah,
That was a good race, man.
Absolute banger. Yeah, got a lot of good battles going on. You know, we had some iffy moves, some dives, things like that.
And see, that right there should go to show anybody at home who wants to get involved in North American sim racing, right? And we finished that race with 19 cars, and there were still pockets of action all over the track. Kyalami is a really good track. You cannot get this kind of racing with 19 cars at Spa. So
yeah, you're going to be spaced out.
If you're running NA leagues, man, run these nice tight circuits. I know people complain about, oh, but I can't pass. But man, I'm telling you, we saw some really good passes. So
yeah, we saw some questionable ones. We saw some people go around the outside of turn one, which man, that takes some cojones to do.
It's tough because the track falls away as you crest that hill on mid corner and Jixay sweep. You've got curbing, pretty aggressive curbing on the inside. You're stuck on the outside for barbecue. And if you are side by side when you go to the outside of barbecue, you're probably going to have to let the guy go. Otherwise, you're just going to end up in the grass. So,
man,
what a race.
I had fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Vulcan with the win, Murray in second, Regan in third. Good showing from them. You got Ryan Cody taking a top spot in bronze category. Regan gets a top spot.
Skin
silver,
on skin.
Man, some good racing all around, dude.
Thanks for the follow, King C. That's gonna do it for us. Well, if you got anything going on, anything you want to plug? I know you're racing in the Vulcan 3-hour series.
Yeah, we got. I think we have a break before we hit Suzuka. I don't think Suzuka's next weekend. I think it might be the weekend after. But yeah, we'll be doing round 4 of the Mini Enduro Mayhem at Suzuka. That's going to be awesome. That's VSRC and Rapid Drivers Club. Really good outfit to go check out. Check out Rapid Drivers Club on SimGrid. Trying to think of what else we got going on. Not really much else, man. Kind of enjoying time off now that we wrapped up 949. But
just kind of chilling, man.
Chilling and getting to enjoy racing, getting to enjoy hanging out with friends again. Just looking forward to the next Mini Enduro.
Well, if you ever get itchy for some little multi-class racing, you can come by on Mondays.
But the multi-class madness has been pretty tempting. I don't get to race GT4s as often as I'd like, and a part of me is kind of getting the itch to try out something like the the M4 GT4. Just because I kind of like that car. I like it in iRacing and I like it in ACC.
I mean, I'm just going to say, last week at Watkins Glen, we had a GT4 drift battle, so that's how good it is.
That's pretty. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, man.
Thanks for coming, man. Filled in a hurry. Like we had talked about it this morning about you coming by, and then Paul had issues, so it worked out. So I appreciate it.
I hope to see Paul back in the chair next week, so I can hear his nice.
Paul rebuilt his he rebuilt his computer because he got a 4090 and now his computer's dying. So, lol.
Oh no, man. Yeah.
So we
have
will
some chat for that.
Does anybody know where we're at next week? I don't even know. But yeah, we'll be back for another race. I think it might be Imola or something like that. Yeah, we'll see.
I can look it up.
Whatever. If they want to, then go to !SimGrid or !Discord. If you want to buy some crap with our logo on it, we got a new logo thing we're kind of trying out. !Store. The t-shirts and hoodies I hear are really good. So
they have teal.
Yeah, you can get a teal shirt. We've got a cool new baboon logo that we put together today. We don't make any money off of it. You get it basically cost. So, and it's pretty cool. I actually ordered myself some stuff, and I'm a cheapskate. So, we will see you next Sunday.
See you guys.
Yeah.